enough of that noise.
Time for the B-roll, boys!
What up? Welcome back to B-roll, boys. This week we're looking at Hancock from 2008, directed by Peter Berg, starring Will Smith, and Charlize Theron, and Jason Bateman. And with me I've got Wes and Harlan.
Hey, what's up?
Hi, I'm Wes.
No, that's not true. Stop spreading lies.
I'm Wes.
Lies
I'm
and
super-
propaganda. Oh my god.
So this is a weird one in that I really like about half of this movie and then it falls apart.
Yeah, agreed.
So
Episode's over.
that was a great discourse.
Yeah, it was.
Episode's over. No, I'll elaborate a little bit. I think I like the movie the most of the three of us. I'd say behind Spy Kids 3, this is probably the best thing we've watched. And yeah, I really like the first half of this movie. And then it starts exploring the lore of Will Smith's species, and it's just not nearly as interesting. And yeah, I wouldn't say it completely devolves into garbage. It's definitely not terrible, but it's just not nearly as interesting to watch. Yeah,
It 100% dives into 100% fucking garbage. What are you talking about? No, I'm just kidding. It was all right. Yeah, I liked it for the first bit, and then it just completely derails out of nowhere and just keeps imploding on itself.
As a whole, I liked the whole thing a lot more than I thought I would, you know? I was surprised at how much I was enjoying the first, 40 minutes or so. I don't know, especially, being so inundated with superhero movies today. This was kind of refreshing, and it's weird to think that this came out, what year was this, 2008?
Yeah, it was 08. Was that 2008
was
shit?
July, so this was just a few months after Iron Man came out and kickstarted the MCU. But it wasn't really a CU at that point. So
it was just a U.
Huh?
It was just a U.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a U. It's weird to think of what this movie, might have been
comedy.
like if it came out today.
I mean, I feel like this is kind of trying to put a superhero story on its head a little bit, subverting your expectations.
Yeah.
But I really like the main draw of this. So basically, the whole... this is a fairly simple story, but the whole idea of this is that Will Smith is supposed to be this drunk piece of shit superhero, very, kind of chaotic good kind of character, where he's still saving people and fighting crime, but there's a lot of collateral damage in the process. He's destroying highways and cars. He destroys a train at one point. He throws a blue whale a half mile into the ocean, which is pretty funny.
Boat. It takes out a boat.
That's the
yeah, he's
part.
got sweet trick shots on a basketball prison yard. And Jason Bateman comes in, who's the worst part of the movie, as far as acting goes, and he basically neuters Hancock. The guy's name is Hancock, John Hancock, haha. And he kind of neuters him into, well, we need to make the people like you, and you need to have a better image, a better PR, as it were, because he's a PR guy. And I don't know, it just feels like it's stripping the fun from the movie. Because I love seeing him be an asshole. It's almost like a precursor of Deadpool, or what Deadpool would become later.
Oh, the opening of this movie very much reminded me of the opening of Deadpool 1 when he stops that car on the highway.
It's like Deadpool without the balls to be an R. That's probably my biggest problem with this movie, aside from the last half hour, is that this should not be a PG-13. You've got Move Bitch by Ludacris, and they censor it. Why have the song? There's just a million parts like that where you should have that. I feel like some of the shock humor would be funnier if there was more gore. They cut a guy's hand off. That's completely bloodless.
Yeah. There's a little bit more.
There's even a deleted sex scene in this, which was actually kind of funny. And that would have given the
don't
movie
steal my trivia.
Oh, well.
You asshole.
Oh, spoilers.
I've seen this a few
spoilers.
times. Yeah, trivia spoilers. There's a sex scene where he's fucking a girl, and then he has to push her off her so he can blast his cum through the roof like bullets, and that's honestly kind of funny.
That's
I'm
really
so
funny.
upset that you knew that, because I was really looking forward to sharing that trivia and seeing your reaction.
Well, you better look up some more trivia, my friend.
I've probably seen this like 3 or 4 times, if I had to guess.
This is my
surprises me.
second time. I feel like I liked it about the same, honestly. Like, I don't know, it's just so, I guess, polarizing. Like, it's almost like exactly in the halfway point from when he's an asshole to when he switches to start being a good guy. And that's, like, about when the movie starts to, quote-unquote, fall apart, I guess. But I guess one thing that kind of bothered me in the opening is they tried way too hard to establish Jason Bateman as a good guy and Hancock as a fuck-up. Like, they're just
my
constantly
God.
beating you over the head with, like, this is how it is, this is how it is. And it's like, they have Jason Bateman going in a boardroom full of people. They're like, hey, we should give away this miracle drug for free.
And all the corporate bigwigs are like, ah ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But that would interfere with our bottom line, good character. How fucked up of you.
Exactly.
Dumb.
Then they switch to Hancock, and he's just like all you mentioned before. He's just destroying everything.
He's
And it's like,
drinking
yeah,
on a bench.
Yeah, we fucking get it. Like, honestly, if you cut all that shit out, this movie would be like an hour.
Yeah, it's really short.
I feel like you could. It is a short movie to begin with, and I feel like it could be even shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like
Which I guess
hour
they're just trying to
25, I
fill time.
think.
Yeah, plus like 7 minutes of credits, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong? It sounds like for you guys, the movie falls apart when Hancock starts trying to be a more of a role model. Is that right?
Yeah, basically it's frustrating because it could be so much better than it is. Considering the time it came out in 2008, that's when the, like you said, the MCU started and everything. I feel like this movie would have been amazing if it was released in like maybe 2014. That's like around the time of Deadpool, R-rated comic book movies
Guardians
were
of the
starting.
Galaxy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it just came out in a wrong time, and they just didn't do it properly because of that. And maybe that's why I like it a little less than I should, because it just feels like one giant missed opportunity.
Well, like the
See, for
entire
me-
half hour is supposed to be set up like, this isn't your dad's superhero movie, and then they throw in the shit about, oh, now you've got a suit with a fucking eagle on it. Because he had an American Eagle hat at the beginning. Ha
So,
ha ha. Fuck you.
For me, this movie, I totally don't mind Will Smith, trying to get his shit together, because that feels pretty in line with what they set up at the beginning of the movie. Like he clearly, does want to be a hero, because he bothers to get off his drunken ass and stop crime anyway. He just can't be bothered to do the things that will make people actually like him and root for him. So I'm okay with him, like Jason Bateman helping him get his shit together, and do some PR. But for me, what makes the movie fall apart is when we find out that Jason Bateman's wife is actually of the same species as Hancock. She's an alien, and Will Smith's character has amnesia, so he doesn't remember her at all. But they were married, and they are physically drawn together for whatever reason. But at the same time, their physical, being close to each other, it weakens them and makes them mortal. And that's the whole crux of the climax of the movie. But what ruins that for me is just I was much more interested in just seeing Will Smith, try to redeem himself. I didn't need to know any backstory about where he came from or why he is the way that he is. I didn't care. None of that's important to me. It should have been left a mystery, because I just didn't care. And then they spend a good at least 20 or 30% of this movie giving a little bit of backstory to that. And I just don't care.
Did they say they were aliens? Because I thought it was kind of a mystery.
Because she says it's gods/angels, and it becomes a lot less interesting the second that you attach any kind of label to that. And then they're going oh yeah, we've been kind of in the background throughout history, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about that, man. Like, yeah, if the one and only arc was Will Smith's redemption into becoming a superhero movie, I still think that would honestly be boring, but because it gets rid of the entire novelty of what I liked about the first half hour.
He should still have an edge to him. But yeah, I can totally get behind, his redemption and, trying to be better. At least, not like a drunken asshole. Not necessarily Superman levels of good, but not a drunken asshole.
If you want to make him not a dick, then sure, but I don't see why he has to put on a spandex suit.
No,
he's in,
I agree.
Jorts for half the movie.
Jason Bateman gives him this suit that, as I noted in the movie, looks just like the suits that the X-Men wear in the 2000 X-Men movie. And of course, there's an after-credit scene where they acknowledge that, and a guy calls him Wolverine, and it's like, haha, movie, way to take the piss out of it. But, like, it's too late to take the piss out of it, because it's a mid-credit scene. So it feels like a reshoot.
This super corporatized movie with no soul is very self-aware. Hello there, fellow kids.
Yeah.
God. Like, I think, the second that the Charlize Theron element is thrown in there, because she's supposed to be the wife that's also an alien, or not alien, like a god, whatever, angel, superhero, super-powered individual,
right,
as it were. The second that element's thrown in, I just couldn't care. And, yeah, I mean, prior to that, I guess the worst part of all of this is Jason Bateman, who I think has been alright in two things that I've ever seen, ever. I really like Ozark, and then Arrested Development is very okay, and he plays the same character as Arrested Development. Like, for all of the bizarre shit going on around him, he's pretty quick to accept all of it. His wife being one of these as well, the fact that they're supposed to be married. Like, he's pretty just, alright, well, that's the way. And then when his wife is dying in the hospital at the end of the movie, he's just like, well, can't do anything about that. I'm going to look blank-faced. I'm Jason Bateman. I can't have an opinion. I just have to be like the wacky, dorky guy.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
At most, Jason Bateman's character is, like, mildly frustrated in this movie. When, like, he has plenty of reason to be, like, crying on the floor and, like, upset. Because he just found out that his wife is, like, an entirely different person, and she's married to another man, and then later she's dying, and Jason Bateman's just like, God, man, that sucks,
Yeah, he's like John Arbuckle. He's just kind of a poor sap throughout the whole thing.
Yeah,
and
he's just along for the ride, and he's like,
I wouldn't have nearly as much of a problem with, like, I guess, like, her coming in as another superhero and just kind of ruining from there if it at least made sense. Because, like, there's so many questions I have. Like,
practicality of it.
So, yeah, she was able to... I guess they have a kid. He's, like, what, maybe about 10? Implying that they've been together maybe, like, I don't know, 12 years or so, maybe.
Well, like, that's not her kid.
Yeah, she's a stepmom.
Yeah, because the mom died in childbirth, and then she just kind of showed up.
And the way Jason Bateman tells the story about how they met, it sounds like he met her, like, the day after the mom died. Like, immediately rebounded to her.
Also, the horniest story ever.
He's like, I was in the supermarket just looking at diapers, and I was like, man, what am I going to do with this newborn child? Oh, hey, you're hot. Just immediately. Well, and that's actually in line with his character, for him to not give a shit that the mother of his child died, and then just immediately move on to the next thing.
I guess he's like, true.
Whoa, well, like, Charlize Theron just walked into this Dollar Tree diaper aisle? You better fucking believe I am erasing that memory.
Well, like, even still, even if they only knew each other, like, 3-5 years or whatever, there was never been any point in time where he saw her do something or, like, not be hurt by something like a normal person would. And they're also immortal. Like, she complains to Hancock. Oh, yeah, and the reveal is the dumbest shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, Jason Bateman goes to bed or fucks off or whatever, and then they're like talking alone in the kitchen, and then they get close to each other, they start to kiss, and she freaks out and she slings them out of the house, and you're like, oh, she's a superhuman alien god thing. Just like he is. And then she wants to hide that fact, and it just gets dumber and dumber from there.
Yeah, she says, like, oh yeah, this crater in the house, Hancock sneezed. I already called insert State Farm. Oh! God.
That's another thing he was cool with.
She makes it, yeah, he didn't care. She makes it super clear that she wants to keep it a secret from Jason Bateman that she is a superpowered individual as well. But she's like,
that's why you destroy a vehicle to do that.
Yeah, she's taking no actions to do it. I mean, like, Will Smith is like, kind of like, poking the bear a little bit, trying to antagonize her to get her to tell him, some backstory for, who he is and shit, because clearly she'll have answers. And then, yeah, like, she immediately, like, she follows him and they start fighting in a city, and, like, she just, like, puts on some sunglasses to try and hide her face. And they're fighting in the street in the middle, like, there's a ton of people there. And, like, this is 2008, so, like, camera phones are a thing. YouTube is mentioned several times in this movie. There's plenty of footage of Hancock out there doing shit, like, so it's not like you can just be like, oh, no one could get a camera in time or whatever. That's not a thing.
Yeah,
and
she's like, don't unveil my identity.
Yeah, and then, like, okay, like...
in the middle of the city.
If she wanted to keep that a secret, like, yeah, like you said, the inciting incident for that is, like, they almost kiss. Why did she go straight to hurling him out of the house and destroying the wall? Like, she couldn't have first, been like a normal person and been like, no, we shouldn't, no, it's forbidden, our love. No, she goes straight to destroying the side of their house, which fucking... Okay, you could have, like, killed your child who's living upstairs if the fucking wall gave out, like...
There's some also, like, serious stupidity in that scene where they're fighting in the city, because up until this point, Hancock's been destroying shit left and right, and everyone hates him, and they call him an asshole, which is, like, his trigger word, and I guess her trigger word is, like, crazy, dumb, but she,
Women,
then
right?
he does one job where he doesn't destroy everything, and he actually does everything, like, by the book, more or less, and he doesn't fuck anybody up or cause any collateral damage, and then the city just loves him. But then in this next scene, they're destroying cars left and right and flying into buildings. And as they're careening into cars, people are cheering in the streets for him. Why?
Yeah, they totally abandoned
it's
it.
So
like it's like he forgot everything he learned, and so they kind of like, yeah, I hadn't thought about that, but it kind of negates the whole first half of the movie when they're working. They're doing like some PR recovery. Is that like,
he launches a kid into space, and it's great.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to worry about his public image, because by the end of the movie it doesn't matter, which is a shame because that's a lot of interesting stuff, I think.
Was there logic like, oh, he went to jail for like 2 weeks,
so he's good,
and now he has immunity to everything?
Oh yeah, speaking of jail, that's when they set up the villain. Is like when Justin was talking about he stops a bank robbery. And this redneck version of Elijah Wood is the master planner behind it. And yeah, he like, Will Smith cuts off his hand when he calls him an asshole. And then he goes to jail and you see him like, talking with 2 other people who have been wronged, allegedly, by Hancock. And they like form a
Hancock
sinister...
shoves one guy's head up the other one's ass.
Literally, yeah.
Which is awesome.
They form a Sinister Six, so to speak, against Hancock. Or I think it's only 3 people, so we'll call it a Thelonious 3, I guess. They drop on the news, like, somebody saying, like, oh yeah, he broke out of prison, don't worry about how he did it, because we can't be bothered to tell you how, whatever. They mentioned that he's a master crime planner. Okay, cool. But the thing about his plan is, like, what was he going to do to Hancock?
He got crashed by the cops.
Well, what was he going to do to Hancock, right? Because, so at the end of the movie, Will Smith is being, like, physically weakened by being close to Charlize Theron's character. And,
which is dumb as rocks.
So he's in the hospital, and, like, they're both dying. And then this redneck Elijah Wood shows up and starts tormenting them, and it's like, what was he gonna do if they weren't near each other and weakening each other? Because he didn't know about her before this plan. His entire plan hinged on the fact that they were in at least close proximity to each other. If that hadn't happened, Will Smith would have just been his regular invulnerable self. He would have tried to shoot him with the gun. And it would have turned out the exact same way as it did before. Like, how is this guy a master planner? His plan only progressed as far as it did by complete luck and coincidence.
Yeah, he's the luckiest motherfucker on the planet. Well, and that's another thing that doesn't make sense. When he was at the bank robbery, Hancock like flew through the building and slaughtered like 5 of his dudes, and then
And he's like,
then
"What's
he stops
happening?"
him. He cuts his hand off, and what's his big mastermind? He recruits like KKK members from the prison, and they're just gonna shoot him with shotguns.
Yeah, like
that's gonna
what
fucking
was their
work.
plan? Yeah, they didn't have any actual plan. Like it just happened to work out a little bit for them.
No one's ever tried that ever.
And speaking
Yeah,
of
it was
that,
stupid
while
as
he
shit.
was taking out his guys in the fucking bank,
He's like, Hancock's like swooping through the windows.
that actually looked pretty funny though. And then he was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like,
Yeah,
not
like, he
every
knew-
single person on the face of the earth knows who Hancock is. He's like, "Oh,
Well,
what
not
could
only that-
possibly be happening?"
Not only that, but he knew that Hancock was there by that point. And it's not like Hancock is like Superman levels of fast. Like, it's not like you can't see him fly by you. Like, you can't necessarily make out that it's him specifically, but you can deduct, like, oh, it's Hancock, because who else could do that, you know? And he's like, "What's happening? What's happening to my minions?" Like, fucking it's Hancock, dipshit. The guy you just
To
saw?
my guys that robbed a bank with 50 caliber guns.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
8 pounds of C4.
And
8 pounds of
before that-
C4 per person. How did
that
they
what he
just like
said?
look that in? Yeah, he said there's 8 pounds of C4 per person. There's like 20 hostages in there.
Yeah, it was
We
which
brought
was
in the-
really.
We loaded
was
up
really
the trunk
reckless.
of a car entirely with C4 on the contingency that there'd be hostages.
Yeah, it was really not handled well by the police that were overseeing this robbery, because that like Will Smith, this is his first crime that he's stopping since he got out of prison. Like, he's gotten out of prison just to do this, and like he hasn't proven himself trustworthy at all. And like, but like he saved some cops, and then like the chief of police is like, "Go get him, Hancock." And there's still like 20, at least 20 hostages in there. And like, how do you know he's not going to do something incredibly reckless, which he kind of does? Like,
Yeah, he's destroyed like how much up until this point? I will say I love the opening conflict where he wakes up drunk on the bench and some little kid calls him an asshole. I mean, that's
Yep.
dumb. And he pulls out this not Jim Beam whiskey, and he's flying to Ludacris's "Move, Bitch," and he comes up on these 3 guys in a car. They're just being chased by the cops, and then he flings them onto a building.
yeah,
that was
it's an
pretty
entertaining scene. It's a good.
Oh, not
opening.
all of this has aged super well, by the way. We've got some gay bashing in this. Like when Jason
Yeah.
Bateman's showing him the not real comic books, and he's like, "What does this look like?" He's like, "Homo in red."
in red.
And the whole audience in 2008 is like, eh. They're fucking eating that up. Or at the beginning with the 3
Yum.
guys who's like, 3 guys in a car, no girl, rave music, I'm not gonna
I'm not here to judge.
Sure.
Got him.
I don't know why a guy where just constant destruction follows him. He levels buildings, but everybody still wants a piece of him. Like, everybody. Like, the whole thing, like, we keep mentioning he was in jail. The whole thing was a PR thing by Jason Bateman. They're like, okay, the DA wants you to go to jail. You should just do it. Disappear. They'll let
Yeah,
you
just,
out
like,
when,
willingly.
like, real shit happens. And then he gets to jail, and people want to fuck with him there. Like, he couldn't just murder everybody in the whole fucking jail. Like,
Yeah.
he gets jumped by, like, 3 guys, and then he literally shoves one of their heads up the other guy's ass. And that shit was great. I was still with the movie at that point.
There's like 50 guys that crowd around him like, "You ain't going nowhere, boy." It's like, really?
What do you
Get
think?
back here,
This-
boy.
He
can
lifts cars
fly.
and flies Mach speed. No.
There is evidence that he is immortal, because apparently
Yeah.
he's been around. At minimum, people
Yeah,
have known
what's
about
with
him for
that?
80 years, because he wakes up
Yeah.
in a hospital with amnesia. I've never heard that before. And he doesn't know who he is, and he just starts fucking around immediately. So he's never once aged in 80 years. He can fly, he stops fucking trains, but the dude in prison's like, I can take him.
Yeah, why? Okay, so why is there no
I can take
record?
him with my hollowed out pin shiv.
Why is it not public knowledge or general knowledge that Hancock has been around for at least 80 years? Because like he explains to Jason Bateman's character, like, yeah, I woke up in the hospital and I couldn't remember anything, but, they couldn't, stick me with any needles or anything, and my head injury healed miraculously fast. We discovered I had superpowers. Okay, and then he, like, offhandedly mentions that was 80 years ago. And it's like, why was that not, like, reported on? Why is this not, like, why is this not
worldwide
in the news? Like,
phenomenon? Like,
yeah, why is this, like, only known by, like, you and a couple people? Like,
well, see, maybe that's why, because everybody already knows about it. It's just like commonplace, I guess. Maybe it could be one. I mean, obviously, it's just because they didn't think this out. But I guess realistically, maybe that's the case. He has been around 80 years. People are like, yeah, superhero exists. He's been around as long as Superman.
And he's been around longer than that with Charlize Theron's character. And I guess we can just assume that up until 80 years ago, they were just, laying low. They weren't doing superhero shit, which is fine, I guess, but, like, surely there would be some kind of trail.
Charlize knew JFK! She was talking about how she was in Cuba for the Cuban Missile Crisis. Like, these guys aren't sitting in the background. They're, like, influencing history. And somehow they're not just, like, worldwide phenomenons. Like, oh, no, Hancock is just this kind of, like, wacky, kind of annoying figure LA.
He's only a local celebrity. Yeah, he's just a local celebrity. And, so Jason Bateman is, like, asking, when he discovers that she's immortal, Jason Bateman's asking her, like, like what some historical figures were like Attila the Hun, JFK, shit like that. And I'm like,
she has answers for all
why did you know all of these people? Like, I guess she's on, like, she had, like, a Forrest Gump style life where she just, like, popped into every important moment in history just to say hi.
Well, see, there's a thing. Are they important members of history because she influenced them, or just pure coincidence?
That's the only explanation. I guess they were superheroes.
Oh, that is a question that's so much deeper than this actual movie.
I fucking hate that trope in movies. It's like, I get living 3,000 years. I get it. I can buy that, right?
I'm fine with
that's realistic.
Right, as God intended.
But you can't sit there and tell me that you've managed to meet every single significant historical figure in that 3,000 years. There's at some point where you're not going to meet somebody. But, like, yeah, Jason Bateman was just shooting people off. And
so she was partying with Joseph Stalin.
She was like, oh, what about Beethoven? Oh, he's a dick. What about...
what about Hitler?
What about Hitler? It's like, well, you need to get to know him.
Well, how about JFK? And she's like, well... Oh, wait a second. Oh, no, it's not like that. I was in Cuba during all the Cuban Missile Crisis shit.
I met JFK. It was mind-blowing. Oh.
Good one.
Excuse me.
Fucking dumb.
All right, just shut that down.
I don't know. Okay, so I saw this movie in theaters, at least, close to the time that it came out. And yeah, I wasn't critical of it back then, because, I was, like, 12.
This was like Spider-Man 3 for you.
Yeah, pretty much. I was expecting to not like this upon my first rewatch since it came out, and I was surprised at just how okay this movie was. Just okay. Disappointing.
I didn't see this in the theater, but I think I saw it like a year or two later, and it was one of those where, again, the first half hour went by and I was like, oh, this is so fucking quotable and this is funny, it's fucking awesome, and then the Charlize thing comes in and I was like, why are you gonna make the movie not fun? Now it's not fun anymore, now it's shit.
Well, that wouldn't be inherently bad if it just made sense. There's just, at the second half of the movie, there's just so many inconsistencies, shit just doesn't make sense, things just happen, and their best explanation is like, oh, we're tied together. Like, I don't know, like, apparently their species, whatever they are, just, they're created in pairs, and that's like all you get from it.
It just feels like I'm thrown this really fun idea and, like, crux of the movie, and then as the runtime goes on, they're just stripping out, oh, we don't want you to have too much fun. We don't want you to like this. We don't want you to like that he's a dick, and that he's funny, and that he, is an ass to people. That's the best parts of the movie. And the movie kind of punched you like, nope, you shouldn't like that. You should like this cliche. He's in a superhero, like, spandex suit, and he's got an eagle by the end, and he's a good guy, Jason Bateman. That just... it just boils it down to the most boring possible thing.
Can I make a nitpick about his suit, by the way? He had, like you said, he has an eagle on the back, but it's not like
Where did he get this?
it's not like a silhouette of an eagle. You know, like Spider-Man has a spider on his chest, or Batman has like the silhouette of a bat. He has like a very detailed like stitching of an eagle with like specific feathers at a specific angle. I just think it's weird to design a superhero costume like that. You know.
Yeah, it's one
Like,
on
why
Fiverr and got
Like, why couldn't they do like like a phoenix style bird symbol? You know. I don't know.
Or they could
That
just
would
have
be
him in
too
normal
cool,
clothes
huh?
because he's a dick and he hangs out in bars and gets drunk.
Yeah,
See, that's cool.
Will
He's
Smith
cool.
objects to the costume at first, and as well as the PR decisions, and he just kind of comes around to them for no reason. Like he's like, I ain't wearing that homo shit when he sees the costume, and then like when the time comes,
That's gay.
yeah, when the time comes, he just puts it on. I don't know why he decided to agree to it. Just cause.
Actually, yeah, whatever they decide that he's going to do something that's out of character, they just cut to it.
Yeah, like there's no, you don't get to see him
bully him.
come around.
That happened like 3 times. It's like, nope, not
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, I thought
he's doing it.
I missed something when he like decided to voluntarily go to jail. Like he calls a press conference and like announces to everyone. He like reads a speech about how he wants to do better. And I was like, wait, when did he decide he was going to do this? Like, huh?
Yeah,
I mean, I got up to grab a drink and I couldn't have been gone more than 10 seconds. And I was like, wait, when did, huh? Okay.
When did this movie get
yeah.
like way
You know-
worse? When did this get way less interesting and fun and unique and good at all?
the second it hits the halfway point. Because, like, unless you want to count Charlize Theron as the bad guy, which you don't, they don't even, like, the guy that lost his hand, he's, like, the main antagonist. He's not
Yeah.
even introduced whatsoever until over halfway through the movie.
Yeah, he's
I
just
checked.
a
he's a-
fucking dude.
he's a super flimsy character, and not to mention he quote unquote orchestrated this attack on Hancock, which completely easily could have fallen apart if they didn't happen to be close to each other. But okay, I
If you apply logic to it from any
I
angle.
digress. Yeah, okay, but the movie is very clearly you can tell by especially the score, the climax of the movie is trying to be emotional. It's like, oh man, this is so tragic. Will Smith and Theron, they want to be together, but they can't because it's killing them literally. Oh man, this is so sad. Just fly away, Will Smith, fly away, be free. And it's just the emotions don't hit at all. I like what it's going for, but this villain was not set up well at all, and this relationship between Theron and Smith was not developed enough for me to care. And it's weird because
And
this
also,
movie's
you
very
know that
short.
Bateman wouldn't care either way. He'd be completely
Yeah.
fine with it.
You'd be like, well,
that's-
I guess that's the case.
And it's
Wife died?
weird because
Well.
this movie is it's barely an hour and a half long with credits. So it's how much? I wonder how much was on the cutting room floor, because they easily could have added a few more scenes to develop their relationship a little bit more and make me care more. So that it would have been.
You have
would
a
had
bunch
better
of B
payoff.
plots that are introduced and resolved in 20 minutes because this is Pixar length of a movie.
Yeah,
Because
it's
they
super
wanted to
weird.
appeal to people like me that were 15 when this shit came out, and they're like, oh, we want to appeal to the fucking kids and make it cool, but we also want to teach them a lesson as well. That's what you do. And it
This
didn't
movie
work.
is-
I was a dick
this movie
anyway.
This movie is a poor man's Invincible. Just trying to
Pretty
take the
much.
piss out of superhero shit, but Invincible does it way better.
It doesn't even know what it's trying to be. It's like they had a really good concept, and they just couldn't figure out just how to do it, I guess. Especially at that time, superhero movies weren't exactly the most popular thing. I mean, you had X-Men
Yeah.
and Spider-Man and shit.
They were picking
So
up
it's definitely a
steam,
good
but they
idea.
weren't everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just... It's not even like we're trying to make it not make sense, just nothing makes fucking sense.
Yeah, I don't think we're being
They're-
overly
they-
critical. I don't think we're
they're-
being pedantic.
They're weakened by being together, and how long it takes for them to be weakened is just totally random throughout the whole movie. Because he was
Yeah.
chilling with Jason Bateman for fucking weeks, and he was fine, but then all of a sudden overnight he gets weakened. And then when she gets shot in the hospital because they're weakened, his idea was to just jump away from her, and so it
Jump
starts
to the moon.
Well, he didn't jump to the moon yet. He was just skipping across town
He's like
And
a
then-
quarter mile away.
And then she woke up, and then she was fine. So I guess her whole thing was like, oh, we don't need to be together. He has amnesia. Perfect. I'm just going to fucking bail. But it's like, if they both had day jobs and lived together, apparently they would be fine. Because they'd go to work, immediately get their powers back, come home at night, and it would just be fucking fine. I just don't understand. If they can be a block away from each other and be immortal, invincible again, then why the fuck did they ever need to separate in the first place?
Oh, babe, I'm feeling mortal. Can you go get gas?
Like, oh no, just... And then in the hospital, he gets put in there first. He gets shot in a convenience store, and then he's in the hospital, and then that's when they go, Charlize Theron and all them, and then they trade off being weak and strong. Like, if he's suffering from a bullet wound and getting stabbed and shit, how does he still have super strength and can fly? It's like either make them human or fucking don't. They just like don't know.
Well,
what
not
to
just
do.
that. Like they also introduced the concept at that point that they like share their pain and like their physical wounds. Like Will Smith gets stabbed in the back, and like he gets stabbed in the back with a huge knife, and then it cuts to Theron, and she's like, "Ow!"
before.
She's like, "Ouch, owie!" And Will Smith gets hit in the head a bunch of times with the gas tank, and it keeps repeatedly cutting back to her, being like, "Ow!" So it's like clearly indicating that she is feeling this pain. And I'm like, when was this established that that's a thing? Like,
well, he also got shot and stabbed, but getting getting beat in the face with a metal tube 5 times is fine.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
he
like
didn't
you said,
even seem like he
gets-
flinched.
He gets shot in that
is
convenience
so
store, and
dumb.
why did she not feel that? Like, I don't know. It's very selective, It just kind of does what it wants to do when it wants to do it.
You know, at first I was with you on this movie's okay, but the more I talk about it, the more pissed off I'm getting.
That's what I'm fucking saying. This shit sucks.
I still don't think it's. I don't think it's outright bad.
This
I
is
just think
Blue
it's
Balls
it's
the
not as
movie.
good as
It
should
has
be.
the potential to be so cool and so original, or at least like quotable and funny, and like a
Exactly.
in like a
I think-
Hancock kind of way. The first 30 minutes are so quotable, and there's so many funny like cool moments, and then it just pisses it away to become the C-grade superhero shit.
Yeah,
And I couldn't give a fuck about any of it. The second they go into war or like setting up rules and logic only to break those rules and logic, I couldn't care. I was falling asleep.
Yeah, they had a unique
like-
thing in the beginning, and then they threw it away to be pretty generic.
And that makes it worse, just the wasted potential. Because this could have been like a precursor to Deadpool. It could have been amazing. But it's just...
Alas.
Yeah. Will Smith is really great at being awesome in shit movies.
Yeah, he was great through the whole thing. He was perfectly fine. He wasn't a bad part of it at all. It was just like all the stupid shit around them that just doesn't make any fucking sense. It just brings it down so much.
Well, what would you give this out of 10 then?
Fuck. It's just so average. I think I might just have to go right in the middle and just give it a 5.
That's what I'm doing. I'm giving it a 5.
Like, it's not good. It's not bad. It's just...
There's enough good for me to to not be completely negative on it.
Yeah.
But there's enough shit in it to not be a 6.
My disappointment rating would be a 10. Harlan?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 5 as well. I think there's definitely a lot to enjoy in this movie, and I can say at least if it's gonna devolve into bullshit, at least it's only an hour and a half. It's not like we have to sit through an hour of world building, before we get to the
That's
actual
true.
shit.
At least
It
this
could've been
wasn't
worse.
the Irishman link.
This isn't like Waterworld or something like that. Oh god, when are we watching Waterworld?
I have no idea what that is.
Don't,
Speaking of long, shitty-ass movies.
Justin, you know me. You know that's going to be a thing at some point in the future.
I figured if you weren't going to choose it, I would.
You
So I was
fucking
like,
know I am.
we could tear Waterworld apart.
I
It's
don't know
like
what that
Mad
is, but I'm
Max
not
on
looking
water.
forward to it.
That's all you need to know. At some point this year, you'll probably know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what's up.
All right.
Probably in like 2 weeks.
So, Justin, you picked this movie, right? What's a redeeming factor?
The first 20 minutes are honestly super fun. I love any scene that doesn't involve Jason Bateman. Any scene where it's just Hancock and like interacting with another person. It's great. It's honestly really funny to me. Like especially that first scene where look, if you're throwing Ludacris in to the first 5 minutes of your movie, then you're trying to make a statement about the tone of that movie, and then you piss it away. But that first, especially that first interaction, is awesome. Where he lifts the car, talks to the guys, they shoot at him, they spill his shitty plastic bottle drunk liquor, and then he impales them on like a space needle.
That's fair. It is really easy to like at the start.
I was surprised. I was like, why are we watching this?
Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, at first you're thinking Justin's fucking crazy. Sorry, trigger word. And but yeah, then it just gets so out there I just can't follow it anymore. But I do have one redeeming quality about it. It totally had the sidekick dude from Bloodsport in the prison. I know that was him. I don't even have to fucking look it up.
The one that looks like Corpse Grinder?
Yeah, dude. He was awesome. He was such a fucking bro in Bloodsport, and he's in Hancock.
He's a bro in this movie, too. He's like, hey, you should be talking about your alcoholism, Hancock. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. It feels good to release. That's what he says. It feels good to release.
That's a weird thing to say in a prison.
He killed many a man in Bloodsport, so I guess he's got to,
He's got to atone for his sins here.
Gotta find
Harlan, what do you got? What's your good thing?
I think there's lots of good things to find in this movie.
Here we go.
I'll just say I like Will Smith in this movie. This is the kind of what's the word I'm looking for? It's the kind of acting from Will Smith that I enjoy, and I think he's really good and ironically really likable in this movie. Even if he's an asshole, you enjoy it when he's on the screen and doing his thing. I think it's good how this movie just kind of takes the piss out of it for the first 40 minutes or so.
My name's Harlan. I like life and have fun and have good outlooks on things. That's what you sound like right now.
I don't know how that feels. I don't like anything. I hate
Do you guys want to hear some trivia?
Oh yeah, let's do it. Bust out some trivia.
Let's see.
We need a theme song for you.
That's what I'm saying. The original screenplay was much darker. Apart from being a lowlife, Hancock was supposed to be sexually frustrated because he couldn't have sex with a woman without killing her. The MPAA actually cleared a scene involving Hancock's explosive orgasm, but it was removed from the final cut because a test audience didn't find it funny. The tone was lightened considerably for a summer release aimed at a wide audience, but the MPAA gave the film an R twice before the language and violence cuts resulted in a PG-13.
What a bunch of fucking squares, man! Fuck them!
That's that explosive jizz shot you were talking about, Justin. Which, that sounds like it would have made me pretty uncomfortable. And I'm not someone who's
How much of a dish soap drinking bitch do you have to be to not find that funny?
It's hilarious.
I don't know. That sounds a little. I think I would have found it funny, but not in a way that would have made me remember the movie fondly. Just in like an absurd way. But I wouldn't have thought it was like actual commendable humor.
Not that the scene itself is that great or anything, but like if you delved into that idea instead of making him a good fucking guy, then this could have been fucking hilarious. This could have been Deadpool. And it wasn't because they pussied out because they wanted to have a summer release and have this for all the kiddies.
Are you saying Deadpool is hilarious?
I think Deadpool's okay. I think it's
We'll get him, Harlan. We'll get him.
Okay, so this one, I don't think anyone will have anything to say about this. I just thought it was weird. The original title for the movie was Tonight He Comes.
That would actually make a lot of sense for that scene that was cut out.
I don't know why.
Yeah, if they had any balls, they would have actually done that.
That's such a weird fucking title, though.
Yeah, it's like, what does that mean?
Like for an anti-superhero superhero
the Hancock cometh. Okay, so I don't know if you guys got any super patriotic vibes from this movie, aside from when Will Smith is, telling every police officer he sees, good job. But apparently the movie was shown for free.
Hell yeah, brother, back the blue, woo!
Hell right. It was shown for free to troops at U.S. military bases in the Middle East. I guess.
So it would piss them off, so they fought better.
I guess. I don't know what the intention was there, because I can't imagine if I was in Iraq or whatever and I was fighting for my life. I'd be like, oh man, that movie really invigorated me. My morale is through the roof right now.
Yeah, this was 2008. Play him super bad or something. Not fucking
Yeah, that'll
Hancock.
fucking amp up the troops.
At least it's funny.
Play Black
You know,
Hawk Down
how
like an adult.
How much are they laughing over there?
Fair.
You know?
Okay, so this is an interesting one. I don't know when this was posted, but I just found it on IMDb. Will Smith will be producing Hancock Part 2.
Okay, this is the thing. I don't think there needs to be a part 2. I think this is the
there
perfect
shouldn't be.
thing that needs to be rebooted. Like, if they did this into, like, I don't know, like a really good HBO, Amazon show, it could be fucking awesome. But it doesn't need to be a part 2.
Hey, you know
I
how many
think it'd be kinda
how many
redundant.
big movie series were good after they tried rebooting 12 years later? None of them. Don't.
Well, I guess it's going to be a sequel, though, and I very rarely say a movie should be rebooted.
Yeah, but who
but
gives
this was
a
such
shit? Are
a
you
missed
amped for
opportunity.
Top Gun 2?
Yeah. No, I hate Top Gun. But like for this one in particular, it was just such a missed opportunity. I think this would actually be good for a reboot, and I don't usually say that.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I wouldn't expect anything from it either. Because apparently
If it's a
this script...
reboot, then fine.
Well, they did The Boys really well on Amazon, and it's kind of a similar tone, but just one dude. So I feel like they could do that pretty well. I don't know.
Well, I think like now, there are plenty of satires on superhero stories, like The Boys, Invincible, and that kind of thing. I don't think this movie would have the same kind of punch. And I realized that Invincible was out for several years before this movie came out, but it wasn't to quite movie theater audiences, something that big. But yeah, I don't think this movie would have the same kind of punch that it did back then.
Well, that's unfortunate. I guess
Yeah.
we'll have to wait until Hancock 2.
Which apparently, rumors suggest that Beyonce will be in Hancock too.
Is there gonna be like some kind of love triangle? Is she gonna be a goddess or whatever the fuck too?
Let's hope so. The
Yes.
sequel is
Well, I could see
uncertain
that.
as of March 2017. Damn, I was really looking forward
Is
to
there
that.
going to be a go off Queen line in there somewhere?
Peter Berg, the director, said he did the movie for his young son. Okay, which off the bat, I'm just like, what? Why? This movie? I would not show this movie to a child. I don't know what young son
even
means.
as it is.
Yeah, but okay. While editing The Kingdom, 2007, his son's frequent visits to the editing room prompted him to make a comic book style movie. There's nothing really comic book-y about this movie aside from just, the superhero basis, but whatever. I
Man,
digress.
kids fucking ruin everything. Like, this had a good thing going for him, and then his son comes in and is like, Daddy, can I watch this movie? And he's fucking broke his heart, and he's like, alright, I'm gonna make it shitty now.
Daddy,
For
can
my
Will
sh-
Smith have a redemption arc?
For my shitty fucking kid. You know what
I
I
need
was
a
watching
role
as a
model,
kid?
Dad.
Fucking Rambo and Predator, and this kid can't handle Hancock? This is bullshit.
Relax.
I'm showing my kids Saw out of the womb.
Yeah, they got...
Here could
They-
be no fucking pussy.
They
I'm
need
gonna
to be
watch,
thrust into the real world by watching Saw and Die Hard.
Here could be
I'm
no
gonna- I'm
fucking
gonna-
draft dodger.
I'm gonna bond with my son by watching a real father-son movie like The Road. That'll be good.
That's the... Just make sure to lock up all your fucking guns. I don't think a movie made me want to fucking kill myself more than The Road. Just like every scene, like, oh, okay, it can't possibly get worse than that. And they're just like, oh my god.
I don't know. Battlefield Earth had me looking at some pills in a bottle pretty differently.
All right, you guys got
You're
anything
welcome.
else for Hancock?
Hancock.
Yeah, I think that's it.
I
So,
Oh wait,
what are
am
we
I the only
watching
one?
next week?
Wait, am I the only one who watched the mid-credit scene for this movie? I know I talked about it briefly before,
Yes.
but
Yeah, I ran away the second the credits hit because I had to take the big piss.
well,
so I totally
allow me to fill you in on the awesome setup for the sequel.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Which will
It's not
totally
set up
come
for a
out and be
sequel.
good.
It's super annoying. It's just like he like sees a guy who's he like steals a woman's purse, and then there are immediately like 10 cops on him for some reason. I don't know how that worked out. And then Hancock shows up 3 seconds later, and then the guy suddenly thinks he has all the all his ducks in a row. He's like, I can have Hancock fly me out of here. People are stupid, and he comments on his suit looking like Wolverine, and it's just I feel like a test audience noted that it looked like a Wolverine suit, and they were like, oh, we have to take the piss out of that too, so let's do a reshoot where someone acknowledges it. And then he calls Hancock
quirky.
he calls Hancock an asshole, and then Will Smith looks at the camera like, shouldn't have done that. And then the credits continue. I'm sorry,
God,
it just annoyed me.
Nobody
that the movie,
stayed for that. Nobody stayed for that. Like, you're the only person that knows that scene even fucking happened. Because, like, the second it's, like, directed by, everyone fucking ran out of the theater.
I was like, fucking bye.
I'm the only true Hancock fan. All you others are just imitators. Okay, so next week's movie?
What is it?
Alright, so, I'm sorry, listeners, but I'm gonna betray the wheel this time.
I'm
because
sure they're devastated.
Dude, you can't fucking betray the wheel.
Thank you,
We
Wes,
talked
for
about
caring.
this. We just watched a movie about a fucking box that people opens haphazardly and they get fucking killed. Your wheel is going to get us all murdered. This is
Okay,
the last
then I'll-
episode because we're going to fucking die.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel and then lie to us. That's even worse.
Don't patronize me.
Unbelievable. I don't think you're spinning anything.
I'll see you guys next week for God's Not Dead.
Yo!
You're trash, bro.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Open my eyes!
That's it. What, we some kind of
B-roll boys.